Erev Tov Chavrim. I'm Steve DeNoon. You're watching Israeli News Live. You know, if this doesn't beat all, Pompeo warns Turkey not to render the S-400 operational or face more sanctions. I had to word this video tonight about Pompeo dictates to Turkey what they can and can't do with, of course, with the S-400s that they've ordered. Not that I'm for anything that Turkey does in the first place. I just think it's rather kind of provocative. Not even provocative. It's not. It's not even. It's not really provocative. What is it? Uh, it's downright out ludicrous that Secretary of State can actually dictate to another country what they can and can't do. But you know, this is really what the mark of the beast is all about in the first place. It is going to be about you can't buy or sell, saving you take this mark. In other words, you have to go along with the agreement of whatever nation is going to be controlling this world. I really think it's going to come down to Israel controlling the world. And I know that may sound a little bit far-fetched to some, but look, we got these Noahide laws being implemented, put into all different countries around the world. We are seeing that Russia is pandering to everything that the Israelis are saying to do. And, you know, all the Bible prophecies and the people that run around believing that Russia is a great boogeyman, the king of the north, but yet Putin just bows down to Netanyahu, whatever Netanyahu has to say. I mean, I saw this a lot with Syria. I mean, it's pretty obvious that he was doing something very shady when it comes to allowing the Israelis just to bomb indiscriminately inside of Syria. And I know the Israeli government is always saying they're targeting Iranians that are inside there. They don't want Iranians close to their border. But at first it was 50 kilometers from the border, then it was 100 kilometers from their border, and then it was no place whatsoever inside of Syria. And now it's no place in Syria or Iraq. And soon enough, it's going to be that, oh, I'm sorry, Iran is not allowed to have a military in their own country either. How far does this actually go? Well, look, this is going far beyond our own borders, though. It's not just the fact that we dictate to the whole world what they can and can't do, and Israel is just allowed to go around and, you know, they got everybody on a puppet string as well. But now we're dealing with a lot of other interesting things that are happening. Like, for example, just saw this came out on Arutz Sheva today. Report: U.S. envoy made dramatic trip to Alaska. What was that all about? According to the article here, Israel's ambassador to the United States, Ron Demir, went on a secret trip to Alaska last week. Barak Ravid and Channel 13 News reported on Friday. Israeli officials told Ravid the trip wasn't a usual diplomatic trip to one of the states in the U.S., but a much more important and even dramatic trip. The official said that Demir's visit to Alaska had to do with an issue which is at the core of the U.S.-Israel security and strategic relationship, and mainly with the cooperation against the threat from Iran. Alaska. What's Alaska got to do with anything in this? And it's really strange, right? Then we have this come up. Orthodox Jewish woman named cybersecurity chief for U.S. spy agency, NSA. She's been appointed the top of our NSA. You know, by the way, NSA spies on the CIA and everybody else in the world. And, you know, the only thing, I mean, I really have to ask the question, where's her loyalty? I know she's a member of the Chabad organization. And listen, as a Jewish person, I know how it is. And I used to be very much a hardcore Zionist myself. Not Zionist in the way of what most people think, but believing that our people should return back to the homeland for the coming of the Messiah. That was the type of Zionist I was. But at the same time, though, I also know how it is because you love Israel, you love your people, and you would do anything to defend your people. And I used to think that way, very much so. It took me really some eye-opening to realize that some of the things that we were doing in the Middle East was completely wrong. But this lady here is put to the top position in the NSA. What do you think's coming next, then? You know, you know, this is dealing with all kinds of issues there, but cybersecurity, you know, before long they're going to label people that disagree with Israel. They're going to call everybody anti-Semitic, and they're going to shut you down. It's coming. So the loyalty is not to the American people or free speech. The loyalty is going to be to what the desire of the Israeli government is. We're seeing that already. I mean, face it, this is exactly what happened in Russia. You know, Putin gets the request from Israel, turn off the S-400, give us the code so we can fly over Iran and bomb them indiscriminately if we so desire, and Putin obeys. Woof, 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 like a little puppy dog. Whatever you want. You know, it's just strange, those things that are happening there. And then also we have, too, the Iranian cargo ship sinks in the Caspian Sea. Wonder how in the world that happened. I'm really interested in that one there. Some kind of collision or something, and then just randomly starts to sink. That's a little bit odd, don't you think? Another one of those little things that make you say, It's about the way I feel right about now. By the way, going back here to Mary M there, let me see if I can find Mary here. I thought I had her tweet here a second ago. Well, maybe I don't. But at any rate, the situation that's going on in Caracas. By the way, thank you for the 1 million different people that sent that to me. Caracas is how you say it, not carcass. They're not dead. Well, they ended up being dead carcasses. That, by the way, that guy, he actually, I hate to say it, but I think the guy won. And I'm talking about these drug lords that are out there. In fact, this is an article that I pulled up. Is in Spanish. I used Google Translate to translate the article. Brutal battle. Murderers with assault rifles attacked and injured 4 CICPC officials in Cota 905. This is, of course, in Caracas, Venezuela. And they show some photos here of those thugs there that were waging the war on the police there. And there was something to do with just a few small 9mm carrying police that had came to do something there, and they got caught in a gunfight with these guys, and they were losing rapidly, according to the article. A brutal battle broke out at about 11 a.m. on Friday, July 26th, at the Cota 905 in Caracas, when murderers of the band and I'm not going to say it right either, I'm sure, Coqui, C-O-Q-U-I, armed with assault rifles, they surrounded and injured 4 CICPC officials who were carrying out research work in the area. I don't know what kind of research work they were carrying out. The bloody pitched battle lasted for more than 3 hours. After 2 p.m., the sinister clatter of automatic weapons that terrified the inhabitants of Cota 905 was still heard. It was known that among the wounded was the commissioner, Jesus Ramirez, who allegedly headed the commission that was ambushed, pursued at gunpoint and besieged by the El Coqui band. Detective Moses Hernandez was shot in the left shoulder and in a maxillary region. Detective Graviero Solan shot in the leg. And the Inspector Luis Boyer was wounded in his right hand. So the grazed and bloodthirsty anti-socials fired bursts of furious bullets that merciless pierced the patrol first, and then the walls where the shocked officials of all ill-fated CICPC positions were hiding. Besieged and responding to fire with their 9mm and 7.65 regulations weapons, officials realized they were going to die in that battle. They were surpassed in firepower. They shouted frantically for help on the radio. They could no longer contain the murderers' assault. One by one, the officials were falling, bitten by bullets that spurted blood with shreds of flesh and skin dressed with heartbreaking screams. Well, the writer of this thing really did a really good job in being very descriptive about it. But anyway, finally the help does arrive, and they did not capture these guys either. They finally, they say about 3 p.m., things kind of quietened down. The police didn't do a single bit of good against this group called Coda 905. They say that the guy was definitely showing that he ruled that neighborhood, and it wasn't the only neighborhood that he rules. They're talking about going back in there tonight, so we'll have to wait and see if this all breaks out all over again. If they do, I'm sure the police will be tucking and running once again, unless they end up calling in the Navy SEALs or something. That's about the only way they're going to probably catch these guys and bring them out, is to bring in some heavy-duty firepower, which I'm sure the U.S. would love nothing more than put boots on the ground inside the country. Or maybe the Russians would like to do it. Send your Wagner group in or something like that, you know? Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, listen, check out DeNoon Institute. After you're done here, I'll be loading up a video there, kind of an interesting thought on the giants or the Nephilim. It's just a short teaching there, but I caught something from the book of Numbers that I was able to apply to Genesis chapter 6. Going to give you a totally new perspective on the thoughts there. I'm Stephen DeNoon. Thank you for watching, and please support the broadcast. You can do so. Our address right here. Stephen DeNoon, 8297 Champions Gate Boulevard. That is the little pound sign, 442 Champions Gate, Florida, 33896. Your support to this broadcast is greatly appreciated. Thank you and good evening.